Gang. It has been at least 4 years. For the first time in a long time, I'm actually going to talk about theatre on this channel. If you are new here, i.e. not one of my friends or not someone who's been watching this channel for years and years and years, I used to talk about theatre on this channel before I completely turned it over and went into books. There's a lot of reasons why I stopped talking about theatre, which I think we'll get into in another video because I don't want to get into that now. There's a whole plethora of reasons, it's not one answer. But I saw a show last Friday on the 26th of January 2024, which actually gave me that inspiration to want to talk about it on YouTube again. And that show was Just for One Day, which is currently running at the Old Vic Theatre. Now, it goes without saying, for a show to make me want to make a YouTube video about it again, that in itself should tell you how good the show is. I'm writing a blog post about the show, and I'm going to share it so it coincides with their press night on the 13th of February. So hopefully around mid-Feb, I will share my review on my website, and I'm hoping this video will go up at the same time. So, what is Just for One Day? It is a show currently running at the Old Vic Theatre. It is a show which I went into thinking, oh, it's about Live Aid. We all know what Live Aid is, right? Right, and it is about Live Aid, but it's about so much more. It is a story taking you from way back when Bob Geldof first watched the news and realised about the starvation and famine in Ethiopia. It takes you from there all the way up to when he put together the Christmas single, Do They Know It's Christmas? The promotion of that, getting everyone on board to be a part of it and getting it played on the radio on Top of the Pops. And then it takes you from how that single led to him then putting on Live Aid and the after effects of Live Aid, the positive change it's had, all the way up to kind of the relevance and positive change it still has now in 2024. So it's a heck of a journey in that show, and it is so well done with so much sensitivity and so much passion and enthusiasm. And honestly, this is the kind of show that made me realise this is why I first fell in love with theatre. Heck, this is the kind of show that made me think this is why I wanted to be an actress. This is the kind of stories I wanted to tell. It's about telling crucial stories, about making life-changing theatre that can open people's eyes and it can educate people, but not in a way that feels preachy. It's about giving people a fun night out at the theatre, but also a piece of theatre that people take something away from it with them. So when you leave the theatre, you are still thinking about it. For me, this is an example of what theatre could be and what it should be, and the kind of theatre we need more of. There is an incredible cast in this show. The performers are all absolutely fantastic. They're insanely talented. They've got an incredible range of voices, and what I love is that every single person in the cast has been given their time to shine and showcase their voices and really show off what they can do. It's very much an ensemble led show. Like, it's not kind of necessarily you've got your big stars and then your ensemble. It feels like everyone is a crucial part of telling this story, which is the same with any show. But you know, for example, I don't know, in Les Miserables, you've got your Jean Valjean and you've got your Javert and then you've got your ensemble. This feels very much like everyone is just one collective team, all coming together to tell this incredible story. There is, of course, someone portraying the role of Bob Geldof. His name is Craig Ells, and I would feel intimidated at the thought of that. Like, oh my gosh, imagine playing the icon Bob Geldof. But he does it absolutely brilliantly. He takes it all in his stride, and on stage he completely embodies the role, and he really tells Bob Geldof's story with so much respect and sensitivity, and he has just completely got the character down. He has got the mannerisms, he's got that blend of kind of abruptness, but also that passion and determination to do the right thing. It all comes across beautifully in his performance. And I think what is so brilliant about this show is it's got all those songs you know and love from Live Aid and from the 80s, but they've all been performed in a fresh new way. So they are still recognisable and they're still kind of those iconic numbers at the heart, but they've been performed in a slightly different way, which makes it feel like they're not imitating the performer. They're putting their own spin on it, performing it in their own way that still stays true to the original, but isn't just an imitation. A really exciting thing to see, because it's amazing to see someone impersonating Freddie Mercury, but for me it's also exciting to see how someone takes his iconic songs and performs it in their own style. I know, especially for like die-hard fans of music from the 80s, it might be a bit disconcerting to them, being like, oh, why are you changing the way the songs are sung? But it is so effective and it's so well done. Staging is quite minimalistic, so there's not huge amounts of set and they don't really have that many costumes, but that is such an effective decision that's been made in terms of the staging, because I think that by taking away excess things like the staging and the costume changes and the props, you just strip it back to the story and to the music and to the characters, the most integral and important parts of a theatre show. It means none of those important aspects are lost in all the excess stuff that looks nice and adds to some productions but aren't necessarily always needed or aren't always needed in as much detail. So what is there is kind of the minimum. It does help and elevate some scenes, but the heart of the show is the story and the characters and the music. And of course the cause of all of this, the reason why Live Aid was produced. Rightfully so, because that of course is the heart of the show and what the show is and should all be about. This show wouldn't be here if Live Aid didn't exist, and I think it was really important to keep that message at the forefront of the show, to keep the message of why this happened and what good came from it and why it was so important to have this happen. So it's really refreshing to see that there was actually not that much extra on stage and what was needed. No messages were lost, there was not any excess distractions, it was purely all about the storytelling. And that's not to say that, you know, that's not all needed for every production. Some shows are elevated by the use of props and costumes and set. I just think for this show the right decision was to have that all stripped back because it just wasn't necessary, and I think it worked really effectively. I think that this is a show that has had a lot of time and effort and work put into it, and the people behind it on the creative team know there's going to be diehard fans, know there's going to be people who went to Live Aid that are coming to watch it, and I think you can tell they really kept that in mind because they've kept everything so close to the original content and the heart of everything has been kept the same, which I also think works quite well for people of my generation and younger, because then people who weren't alive at Live Aid or people who may not have even ever heard of it and are going with their parents, this is a really fun way for them to learn about it, to go away and do some more research based on the show. It's really eye-opening and thought-provoking piece of theatre for younger people to get them interested as well, which can only be a good thing. And then following on from that, what I really love is how at the end of the show there's kind of like a chunk of the show dedicated to, well, this was in the 80s, why should I care now? Like, why does it still affect me? What should we be taking away from this? What can we learn from this now in 2024? Like, why is this still relevant? And I love that there's a whole chunk of the show dedicated to that, but it doesn't feel preachy. Never at any point does the show feel preachy. It just feels like, well, this is what humanity can do. This is what humankind can do. This is what we can do if we have some compassion and we open our eyes to people who have less than we do, and how we as privileged human beings can help them and why we should help them. It's a really, really fantastic way of getting these messages across, not in a way that feels like they're lecturing you. It just feels like a natural storytelling technique, and it's so effective. It's so brilliantly done. I have not felt this way about a theatre show in a long time. I walked out of the theatre with my friend and I was like, I don't even know how to go on carrying on living my life now, because that has changed me so much. And for me, that is an exact example of how theatre should make you feel. It should stir strong emotions. Theatre should make you feel. It should make you want to take action, leave you changed as a person when you come out of the building. You should come out of the building of a theatre, I think, feeling slightly different than when you went in. And for me, Just for One Day is a perfect example of that show. It is still relevant, potentially now more than ever. Like, this was set in the 80s. Yeah, if you look at the current situation of the world, it is still so relevant. There's so much we can take away from it. And it was really refreshing looking around the audience and seeing such a diverse range of people all sat together, enjoying the same thing. And to me, that's like such a magical way for everyone to be brought together. Like, theatre, music, the arts in general is a really brilliant way of uniting people. And I think Live Aid is a really massive demonstration of that. Like, if you look at how many people all came together for Live Aid across the whole world, and I think that's really cool that Live Aid caused that, and then this show is again bringing people together to learn about this story. And I just think it's really clever. Such a fantastically unique, brilliant piece of theatre that's really going to stay with me for a long time. Currently, Just for One Day is running until the 30th of March 2024. I am hugely optimistic the show is not going to close then. I really hope it extends because it's selling so well, and it's, like I said, this is such a crucial piece of theatre that really needs to be told to as many people as possible. It's absolutely beyond words. Whatever I say will be never enough to do it justice. For me to talk about theatre on this channel again after like 4+ years demonstrates how much of an impact it had on me and how passionate about this show I am. I am not going to shut up about this for a long time. So if you see me in person, good luck. Thank you for watching. I hope this video made sense. It does feel a bit like I was just kind of rambling and ranting at the camera for 10 minutes. It definitely doesn't feel as coherent as my book videos. So I hope it made sense. I hope some of my passion came across. In the description will be the link to my blog post where I will talk about this show in a far more coherent way than I do on camera. I promise my writing is better than my speaking. That's why I stick to my writing. I will also put the link to the Old Vic website where you can buy tickets to go see Just for One Day. Hugely recommend it. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you all again soon. Bye. I just remembered why I don't like talking about theatre on this channel, because I'm much better with writing about it than talking about it.